everybody. On this edition of the show, we'll hit news and notes from around the country, including a recruiting violation. Yes, a recruiting violation in the year of our Lord 2025. We'll also shine a spotlight on Memphis and North Carolina State's transfer portal classes, and we'll finish with a 5-pack of commitments we think you should keep an eye on. The captain of the ship, Mike Holland, joins me for all that and more in about 15 seconds. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done. Trying to fix the old mic here, get it adjusted. Your fast break of college basketball information, and we are powered by the galaxy's greatest website, drroto.com. I am your sometimes humble host. My name is Jay Heinrich. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Follow me on X at at Dr. William Cannon is who I am. You can see it right there.
They're doing a face-off.
The guy right there, face off. The guy right there on your viewing device is the captain of the One and Done ship, El Capitan himself, at MC Holland 34 is where you can find him over there. The OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, what it do?
What's up, man? It feels like forever. You know, when the season's going, it feels like we're on every couple of days. So kind of nice to get a little bit of a break now that the transfer portal officially closed on April 22nd. But we still got some names. I think me and Eric were talking about roughly about 15% of our top 500 big board, which is going to be re-released tomorrow, is completed. So yeah, man, it's almost go time as far as roster construction is concerned, and we're about to flip the calendar to May. So excited for all the things we're going to do, you know, coaching interviews and things like that. So glad to be back and glad to be on screen with you again, man.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. 1,522 subs at the time of recording, led in the live chat today by our good friend Michael Peterson, shouting us out. Usually one of the first to hop into the liveliest of all the live chats. Michael Peterson. Hey, Michael, how you feeling after your procedure we know you had done, and you hopped right into One and Done after that to let us know you were doing all right. We hope that you're still doing well, recovering after everything. And look who else it is shouting us out in the old live chat. It's the Hall of Famer himself, CC Hustle, our guy at The Real Napier, Chris, doing things behind the scenes with Mike, working on that top 500, top 500,000, however many people are in the portal on Mike's billboard at drroto.com. So make sure you check that out over there. Check out what Mike's doing and Doc and all the rest of the gang are doing over at drroto.com. But make sure you push the subscribe button right here on the One and Done channel as well. Snake's Eyes hopping in there. What's up, Snake's Eyes? Good to see you in the live chat. Some of the OGs hopping in there already. Make sure you hop in there with the live chat. Oh, yeah, we had Darren up there. All right. Go Mean Green. Of course,
we saw that coming.
We all saw it coming for sure. But we love our guy Darren. I'm sure he'll hop in at some point during the live broadcast, and we hope you do too. So push all those buttons. If my mic was banging around up against my collar in the cold open, we're going to hit some news and notes. We're going to put a spotlight on Memphis and North Carolina State, and we're going to give you a 5-pack of commitments we think you should keep an eye on. But Mike, instead of a normal just hopping into some of these transfer classes right away, why don't we get to some news and notes, starting with USC 5-star freshman Elijah Arenas injured in a car accident. Yes, Arenas as in Gilbert Arenas' son. Obviously, the talent precedes him in lineage, and he's also got that 5-star tag as well. But unfortunately, he was involved in a serious car accident on Thursday morning, immediately placed into an induced coma. A really scary situation here, Mike. But it looks like we've got some better news now. Reports are that he's come out of the coma and is progressing. Mike, this is the second offseason in the last 3 years where they have dealt with a scary situation regarding a McDonald's All-American, an incoming freshman. Obviously, Bronny last year, everybody remembers that. Had the heart scare a couple of years ago, and now Arenas going through this car accident. On the other side of this, hopefully, the good side, Mike, but what are your thoughts on the situation?
Yeah, I mean, you have to feel for the kid, and you saw, everybody obviously jump onto Twitter and wish him a speedy recovery. We do too. Obviously, he has a bright future, but not just not as a basketball player, right? But as a young man, you hate to see that, regardless if he's a 5-star basketball player or not. So,
Right.
hoping for a full recovery here, and he's expected, or at least was expected to be a big part of this kind of revamped USC backcourt. We obviously are not going to speculate, but like whatever it is, I won't. They're not going to rush him back. Like there's just no reason,
Right.
with that ceiling that he has, and we're still 6 months away from the season, so we'll kind of check back in on that, as we kind of to get into the late summer months, kind of see where he is with all that. But you just hope that he continues to recover, man. So a scary situation, but hopefully coming out on the other end and hopefully getting back to where he was pre-crash.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Let's move on now to Tennessee, picking up a top 5 high school prospect. Rick Barnes doing big things out there in Volunteer country. Nate Ament, the top uncommitted high school player in the country, is no longer uncommitted. He made his decision last Sunday that he would play ball for Rick Barnes and the Volunteers, choosing Tennessee over Louisville, Arkansas, Big Blue Nation over Kentucky, and Mike over Duke as well. A one-and-done type talent here going out to Tennessee. What kind of player are they getting in a men? 6'9", 185, obviously just talent coming out of every pore.
Yeah, and Rick Barnes is quoted as saying that he thinks he's a one-and-done type player. So I think he's going to really use him. It's really a player that Rick Barnes hasn't had over the last couple of years at Tennessee. A stretch four, can handle the rock. Like he's drawn some comparisons to Brandon Miller. He's the highest ranked recruit incoming high school player in program history. 24/7 Composite has him ranked as the 4th best player coming out of high school. We always talk about this. We're going to do our incoming freshman shows, I think probably starting here in the next couple of weeks. And we always say needs to get stronger. That's usually more than half of these guys need to get bigger and stronger. But the talent, undeniable. He probably has, there's some big names coming in, obviously, with Boozer. But I think highest ceiling of anyone in the high school class, maybe, as far as long-term upside. So we'll see. We'll have to see it on the floor, right?
Brandon Miller, that's not too shabby of a name to be placed alongside there for a college career starting at. We'll see how it goes for Nate Ament. Make sure you hop in the live chat. Let us know what you think about Tennessee's pickup, about Elijah Arenas' unfortunate circumstance. USC can't seem to catch a break, cannot seem to catch a break with their Big Donald's All-American freshman coming in. And you know who else can catch a break? That would be Fordham, Mike, hit with recruiting violations. Yes, that's right. We're talking recruiting violations in 2025, Mike. Indeed, the NCAA announced that Rams are getting 3 years probation and vacating wins from 21 to 23 for recruiting violations under former head coach Keith Urgo. He was fired back in March. Mike, what were the reasons for the violations, you might ask? How about giving recruits tickets to professional sporting events like Giants games, Knicks games, Nets games, U.S. Open ticket, U.S. Open tennis, right? Which is, right there in New York, as well as it's just, if DMX once said that they should be called motorcycles, but as a matter of fact, they're called jet skis, and they were giving out jet ski rentals to players as well. Were Fordham. A big blow to that program, Mike, that had its second winningest season in program history in 2023. What are your initial thoughts on hearing of the tickets and the jet skis?
How much are tickets to a Nets game? Like 75, like $100, maybe, like for really good seats. I don't know. It seems kind of silly.
Yeah.
And just kind of, one of those things, we're giving guys a lot of money to play basketball. I don't really know what the difference is between paying them money versus buying them a ticket to a basketball game. So it seems kind of silly. As Cam's jumping in here saying Fordham getting hit with these violations this week, SEC schools are giving them bigger bags for decades. Okay, yeah. Don't forget the Big Ten as well as in there, and the ACC. Seriously, it's silly. I mean, I don't know, Jay. It just seems it just seems pretty silly that tickets to a U.S. Open could be the difference in a 15-win season and a 25.
Yeah, but be smarter than that. I think it's ridiculous too, but you got to be smarter than that. Like one of the most easily traceable things, like one of them. Some of these are the most widely watched events in the country. People watch worldwide audience for the U.S. Open, and you got these guys sitting out there. And, who knows? But it is a little bit silly. I agree. The live chat is not silly, by the way. Well, maybe it is. Actually, it is the liveliest live chat in all of college hoops. An incoming freshman show asked Darren Boozer Twins previous. Okay, all right. We'll see about that. We shall see.
Peanut butter
posse. Good to see you in
goodness.
there.
He's back.
You did miss Nate Ament choosing Tennessee over Kentucky and a host of other teams, but we missed you, man. Good to see you back in the live chat. Hey, I understand it, man. Follow Mark around, Coach Pope around, friend of the show, Mark Pope, as of course we spoke with him when he was the coach at BYU. So check out all of our coaching interviews. Check out everything we're doing at One and Done College Basketball. Push that subscribe button over on YouTube. If you're watching us on X, we definitely appreciate you. We see a ton of you in the lobby there. Well, do us a favor, get over to YouTube when you can. Okay, just open it up in the app there. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bells, and you won't miss a minute of our coverage. We're doing this year-round, 365 days a year. It had been a little bit of time, like we were saying, in the pre-show meeting. Like it feels like forever. When we don't go on in 5 days, that feels like a long time because we're usually cranking stuff out on a every couple of day basis. Yeah, exactly, Darren. Friend of the show. You hit it right there. There's my guy. Shout it out from the rooftops, baby. Good stuff there. Anything else news and notes wise? Mike, I did see a comment in here that I wanted to make sure I got on. Cam hopping in earlier saying Cade Tyson wants 7 figures. Hard pass there. You got any? Judging by your chuckle there, I think I have a feeling how you're feeling on it. But what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think that's going to happen. So, they had that great season at Belmont. Came over to UNC. It just didn't work out. A lot of these mid guys that jump up, it just doesn't work. So. Unless you find a mid that has 7 figures, which a lot of them have already spent their money, it's tough to find that. So,
yeah, most of those people have already spread out the cash, if you will. So, hey, before we get to these team spotlights, one more time, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Where are we sitting at? I think it was 1522 a little bit ago. Let's boost those numbers up, y'all. Let's boost it up. Push those buttons, like and subscribe, notification bells. Michael Peterson up and in 7 figures if you count to the right of the decimal point. Attaboy, Michael. Oh, yeah, that's what we like to see.
Johnny K.
The body armor. I mean, the Coco. Yeah. Johnny K. Good to see you. Man, all the OGs are coming out for sure in the live chat.
Native Men, he's asking about the physical nature. Yeah. He's more of a finesse type player, so – I think that you don't worry. The other 4 guys can body up and and do all the dirty work. If you get a player of his caliber that can really get things done offensively, I think they'll be okay. Peanut butter, but yeah, a nice question there, man.
Yeah, peanut butter posse. Not all jokes, brings the heat a little bit sometimes on the question, and we know that you will too. So push that subscribe button, hop in the live chat. Ask the questions, fire them away. We'll put them up on the screen, and El Capitan Mike will salute us all with his answers indeed. All right, let's get to it now. A couple of spotlights on some portal hauls here, starting with our guy Penny and the Memphis Tigers. Penny's 7th year at the helm produced the most wins during his tenure, a whopping 29 wins for the Tigers, which included an AAC regular season and conference tournament championship. So pull off the double there, but unfortunately they could not pull off a win in the NCAA tournament. The problems in the tournament continue for Memphis as the 5th-seeded Tigers fell to Colorado State in round 1. PJ Haggerty, he was there. He was the dude. He was the backbone, and he is now in the portal. So as of now, as a matter of fact, all 5 starters from last year are not returning. So the early window of the portal, we talked about it, Mike. A lot of teams got their money out of the way and got their guys in early on in this process. Memphis was not one of those teams that really didn't yield many results, although they have landed some talent recently. Starts with the addition of Kansas State guard Doug McDaniel, who is the only member inside of the top 100 of our big board over at drroto.com. So outside of McDaniel, who comes in at number 70 right now at the time of recording, what do you make of this class from Memphis and Coach Hardaway?
Yeah, this is I mean, look, if Dane Danger gets a waiver, it makes this class look a lot better because you obviously have that centerpiece. And even if, PJ Haggerty decides to withdraw from the portal, this is going to look a lot better. Look, for McDaniel, obviously he's kind of the crown jewel right now. Roller coaster year at Kansas State. I think Penny can get the most out of him because we've seen Penny do that with point guards. He shot 37 and 36% from three the 2 years he was at Michigan, and he just really struggled in this Kansas State offense. He shot 26% from three, struggled to get to the free throw line. There was a stretch in February where we thought he was kind of turning the corner, but it just faded out as the Wildcat season faded out. So I still think he's a quality playmaker. He's going to give you a 25 to 30% assist rate. He's going to open up the floor, and we just know that Penny knows how to coach the point guard position. So I'm expecting a bounce back here for McDaniel here. And, we're not sure if Danger's going to get this waiver, but the next highest guy here is going to be Aaron Bradshaw, the center from Ohio State. I have him ranked at number 185. Look, he's a former consensus top 5 recruit overall in the country. Things didn't quite work out at Ohio State last year. They didn't work out while he was with Kentucky his freshman season, but he's super athletic. He can protect the rim. He's a lob target for McDaniel, which is what you want to do. You want to get guys that can attack the rim off the lobs and rolls, and then you want to get spacing around him. So I do like the pairing of Bradshaw with McDaniel, and then there's just like a bunch of guards and wings that they have on here, man. Zach Davis, number 235, the guard wing out of South Carolina. Quante Berry, a guard out of Temple. Julius Stedford, he's a guard out of Western Kentucky, and then Sincere Parker, the guard from McNeese, more of a wing, off-ball type player. So for me, man, I think the pieces could fit because with Davis, he gets him a lot of size. He's like 6'7". He's got experience from the SEC. He has not been a plus offensively in his career. He needs to continue shooting the three ball, improving his three ball. He shot 17% his freshman year, 25 sophomore year. His junior year shot 28%. So if he can get into the 30s, the low 30s, obviously he's going to get open shots. That's the one thing Penny systems will get open shots, and he just needs to knock them down. He couldn't do that as frequently in the SEC. And then Barry, he's the guy that I'm pretty high on. He's a rim pressuring guard. He's also good on the catch and shoot. Had a really good sophomore year at Temple. He's not a high usage guy, which you like, but he does need to make better decisions off the dribble. So, while he wasn't great shooting off the dribble, that 21.5% turnover rate's not going to cut it. So you want him in more of a catch and shoot role, which is what you want to put around Doug McDaniel. Thetford, his freshman year over at Western Kentucky, he flashed a lot of upside. He's more of a developmental player. I don't think they expect much from him this year, but he was 86th percentile in catch and shoot and 87th percentile in spot-up opportunities. So I think as far as fit, if he can get 15 to 20 minutes out of him and continues to develop his game, I think he's going to be a solid pickup for the long term. He was also, someone that attacks the rim frequently and can draw fouls. So I do like his aggressiveness. We didn't get to see much of him last year, but I think we saw enough to know that, down the road, I think he's going to be a really good player. And then Sincere Parker, he's just their high usage shot creator, microwave type scorer, 6th in the country in shot rate. It was nearly 40% shot rate. So when he's on the floor, he's going to take a bunch of shots. The problem is not really that efficient. So more of a volume scorer. He can shoot you into some games. He can shoot you out of some games. I think if Penny's able to use him in the right way, he can be an absolute weapon. So I do like some of the catch and shoot ability of these guys around Doug McDaniel. I like the lob opportunity and the defense that Bradshaw can give you if the light turns on, man. But obviously, I do think without a Haggerty, without Colby Rogers, without Tyrese Hunter, without a Dane Danger, I do think that they take a step back in the AAC. So we'll kind of see how this works out for them.
What are your, if you had to put a percentage on it, and with PJ Haggerty returning, what would you say?
Yeah, it doesn't look great because I think the signing of Doug McDaniel basically tells you that they don't feel great that he's coming back because PJ Haggerty's out there asking for $4 million, but also to play the point guard position. Right. Doug McDaniel plays the point guard, so it's not like, he's a high usage, like he needs the ball in his hands. Haggerty doesn't want to be an off ball. He wants to show NBA scouts that he can play the points. I think it's pretty telling. I don't think Haggerty's going to get $4 million, but he'll probably land somewhere else, which means that they really need Dane Danger or another splash transfer, maybe a switch or something to really get this thing going. But it's still going to be, I mean, they're going to be uber competitive. I'm not saying they're going to take this massive step back, but last year I feel like was a missed opportunity for, a ceiling type season. They left some meat on the bone, it feels like.
A lot of guards here on the screen for Penny to sort of try to mold and shape and play the style of basketball that he's looking to play. Maybe not the most talented group, but hey, man, we've seen plenty of teams that quote unquote win the portal and doesn't add up to anything. But if you can get a bunch of guys playing, here's some talented guys. Again, Mike, like you were saying, like you just have to – there's some developmental players here, players that you hope might spend a couple of years in the system, sort of like Johnny K was saying earlier for his Johnnies. He was saying in the live chat he's hoping that they can get people with multiple years of eligibility. You can't just recruit all the stars all the time.
You can't, not every year.
You've got to have guys that you feel like you can mold into the players you want them to be over multiple years. Some of these guys, yeah. Are they in the top 5? Are they in the top 100 of the transfer portal big board? No. Are they top 300 players? Barely. But do they have the ability to, step up their game year after year? Maybe right now they're 287, but in a couple of years, that could pay off for Memphis and any of these teams. Indeed. The live chat is definitely on fire tonight. Our guy Cam saying the Memphis squad feels like the current UNC squad. Both teams getting worse. Mike, it's hard to judge this stuff so far out in advance, but do you feel like Memphis is sort of taking a step back with this roster, or do you think that they can sort of, obviously 29 wins last year, a big step forward in Penny's tenure? Will they keep that trajectory up, or is it going to be hard to repeat that sort of a number?
I mean, I think they take a step back, but I don't think it's going to be – I think they'll still be top 3, top 4, battling it out for a regular season crown. They're just not going to be – I thought last year they were pretty much head and shoulders better than everybody else in the AAC. So I do like the comparison, Cam. We're going to talk about North Carolina in a little bit on these recent commits because I'm sure you know about Jaden Young and his decision. So we'll dive into that here in a little bit, Cam.
No doubt about it. Make sure everybody hits those like and subscribe buttons like Darren, like Peanut Butter Posse, like our guy C Thuggin, Johnny K, everybody hopping in there, Michael Peterson, our guy CC Hustle. And hey, by the way, don't forget about our guy Eric the Blue at Fantasy Nav in those Rooter Streets, pushing the buttons tonight. We appreciate our guy for always getting the fire-ass graphics for us. And that's why I don't even – do I want to take a paycheck for this – high dollar producing show that we have here on a daily basis? Do I want to? Yes, I do. But do I, because I want there to be graphics and all of my money to just go to those graphics? Yes, I also want that. So here we are, the fire graphics going up on your screen, brought to you courtesy of our guy, Eric the Blue, Eric Romoff, pushing those buttons, and we appreciate him and all the work he does behind the scenes as well. All right. Any other comments before we get in there? Quick comment on Kansas, Mike. Kansas still having an empty cabinet. You see the Jayhawks making any moves anytime soon?
No, I don't. I mean, it's interesting to see what they're doing right now. There'll be a team probably when we talk about incoming freshmen. Obviously, going to play a huge role in that team. We'll kind of talk about them. We'll circle them a little bit when we kind of do our final transfer portal shows with some of the guys that are not highly ranked, but they'll be coming in to play some meaningful minutes for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff there. All right, moving on now to North Carolina State. Now that I know everybody's hit the like and subscribe buttons already, of course. So now that you've done that, we can move on to the Wolfpack. North Carolina State, of course, making headlines with the splash hire of Will Wade. They're going to absolutely love Coach Wade out there at NC State. 2 record-setting seasons at McNeese. It was basically just a matter of what power conference job he was going to land. NC State wasn't my first thought off the dome in terms of where he might land. But, hey, you're only a year removed from a Final Four under Kevin Keatts. Obviously, That was one of the craziest runs in the history of
Oh,
college
yeah.
basketball. The guy had to win the conference tournament to even get into the. Oh, okay. So they went on the run of all runs to win the conference tournament and get the bid, and then go on another run and win 4 games and get to the Final Four and save his job. And then, the next year, bye-bye. Cold world out there. But Will Wade is not too bad of a consolation prize on your doorstep here. And he's wasted no time picking up some quality pieces in the portal, including bringing over a couple of his own guys from McNeese. We have 5 of them, Mike, on our big board highlighted. But what will most likely be the starting backcourt? Trey Holloman, Kadir Copeland, super talented here. And then, a few more players rounding out this class. What are your thoughts on what Will Wade has done in his brief stint as the head man of North Carolina State?
Yeah, I like this. I like the pairing of Copeland and Holloman. He's still got a little ways to go to kind of complete this roster, but this is a nice start. Obviously, he knows what he has with Copeland. Even Breed, although Breed only played a couple of games last year before the knee injury, he obviously saw him in practice and in the offseason and stuff, so he kind of knows what he has in Copeland and Breed. That really helps out his backcourt. Copeland being the ultimate rim pressuring guard. 74% of his field goal attempts are at the rim, and he converted nearly 60%. Which is why he was so dangerous against Clemson in that opening round tournament. We know that he's played in the ACC before with Syracuse, where he was a high usage guard off the bench. That obviously opens up a massive assist opportunity for him when you're putting that much pressure on the rim and, able to find shooters. So, his weakness is when you can actually stay in front of him and keep him from finding open shooters and he's got to shoot off the dribble. It's not pretty. He was in the second percentile in the country in shooting off the dribble. So yes, it's great that he's this rim pressuring guard, but if he's not able to not able to get to the rim and he can't find his shooters, man, it gets pretty ugly pretty quickly. But obviously super experienced, got to cut down on these turnovers. Will Wade would get frustrated with him at times and just take him out for long stretches because he would turn the ball over. So we'll see another year in the off season of the year, and Will Wade's system will obviously help that. So I think obviously a quality pickup. And then I like the way that Holloman projects with them. He's kind of like a jack of all trades guy offensively. Like, he's not the most exciting player and he's not great in any one area, but he's solid in ball screen action. He's a solid spot up shooter, which complements Copeland pretty nicely. Plus he's played a solid role for a Michigan State program that just wins. Archino is probably maybe one of my favorite guys that I feel like is going to be a breakout candidate. He's a high upside defensive wing. He finished second in the country on Evan Maya's DBPR, so like individual defense, like one of the best metrics that we can get for an individual defender. He finished second in the country. So he can guard multiple positions. He's 6'6", this growing offensive game, which was a little surprising when you start watching film on him. I think him playing next to Copeland and Holloman is going to be really nice. He's an 81 percentile spot-up shooter last year. Really good finisher at the rim. He's like not someone you need to run plays for, but he gives you max effort on both ends of the floor. And he's coming from a Houston program, which is a winning program. So like all these guys are used to winning, and they're gonna make it tough on some ACC teams. Jerry Dang, he really took a nice step forward last year at FSU, even though it was a mess. And we always talk about that with these guys transferring out of FSU. But he has really good length and size. He's effective on both ends of the floor. And the theme here for Coach Wade is floor spacing around Copeland, which really didn't have at McNeese. Dang, 86th percentile in catch and shoot opportunities, 77th percentile in spot up opportunities. So that's like your stretch forward that can give you a little bit of defense as an athlete. He's got to put some weight on. And I think he can actually make a little bit more of an impact on the glass here. So his transition over is going to be something I'm looking at. And then Breed is the ultimate wild card. Jay started his career at Providence, 3 years there. He's a combo guard. He started off the season really hot. He was actually in the starting lineup for the second game. He dropped 18 on South Dakota State, and then he had 17 against Alabama, and then he had the knee injury. So what is it? He's an older player. He's been in the Big East. He looked good to start the year. We'll see what he can give them. If he can give them what he did to start the first couple of games, man, I think he's going to be a dangerous weapon for them. So a lot of talent headed to North Carolina State.
North Carolina State and Coach Will Wade, man, they're gonna, again, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, they're gonna love him out there. That is a match made in college basketball heaven. I think he's gonna have success pretty quickly. I really do. I think that's gonna be a team like Peanut Butter Posse was saying. first Final Four in 40 years. He corrected himself later on. Yeah, first Final Four in 40 years. Kevin Keats took him. Same like Mike Malone, took the Nuggets, win a ring, fired. You're out. You guys get out of here. Cold world. But Will Wade, man, what an opportunity for NC State to get back on the map permanently. For sure. Yeah.
He's gonna be like an assistant guy or what is he gonna be?
Respect on it's Aura. Make sure you add Aura in there. All right. Amir Aura Khan.
That's right.
Put some respect on his name for sure. We love the live chat. We love that everybody's hanging out with us tonight. Hey, if you're watching, we're recording this live on Sunday night, but if you're watching us later on, maybe with your Cheerios in the morning, catching some college basketball info, scoop up those Lucky Charms or whatever, what's your favorite cereal, Mike?
I would say Frosted Flakes, man.
Yeah, I got some Frosted Flakes up there right now.
Fruit Loops too.
Okay, very nice. Yeah. Let us know what your favorite cereal is in the live chat. Everybody, drop it in there. Drop your favorite cereal in there. And push the subscribe button if you're watching later on with eating that cereal. And let us know that you're watching by hopping in the comments. We'd love to hear from you if you're watching live or later. All right, let's get to that 5-pack, Mike, of commits out of the transfer portal. We're going to run through these real quick, and then I'm going to get your thoughts up and down here. Let's start with Jaden Epps committing to Mississippi State, the former Georgetown guard, 13 points and 2.5 dimes last season. Dylan Mitchell to the Johnnies here. Johnny K can let us know in the live chat what he thinks about Dylan Mitchell. Going to look to score the basketball. The defense, we'll see. But a very solid player, number 67 in our big board. Tyler Harris committing to Vanderbilt, the 3-point marksman. Christian Coleman going from UAB to Oklahoma State. And Jaden Young, formerly a Hokie, flipping his commitment from High Point to, that's right, North Carolina. So, Mike, your thoughts on these 5: Jaden Epps, Dylan Mitchell, Tyler Harris, Christian Coleman, and Jaden Young.
Yeah, just quickly here. Epps, it makes sense that he would look for a fresh start. Kind of a crowded backcourt there in Georgetown. I was surprised he chose Mississippi State because Josh Hubbard's there, and where Epps really thrives, nearly 80 percentile, is isolation. That takes the ball out of Hubbard's hands. So I don't know about this fit, man. Plus, neither of them's a above-average defender, and their size together is going to be a problem. We talked about Chris Jans and what he wants to do. He's shifting to more of an offensive philosophy. We'll see if he can make the pieces fit together. So, yeah, Epps moving over to Mississippi State. Got some question marks to it. Dylan Mitchell, this is an awesome pickup on paper. I want Johnny K's thoughts on this. I think the fit is a major concern here, and what they do with the starting lineup. Look, Johnny K, I'm not trying to get on top of your Johnnies here, man, but what they needed to address in the offseason was the shooting, the outside shooting, and they did. But now you're bringing in a non-shooter, and you're pushing Hopkins back, and don't tell me Hopkins shot 40% because he was 4 of 10 last year. He's typically not a great outside shooter. So if you're going to play Hopkins at the 3 and Mitchell at the 4 with Zuby edging forward, doesn't stretch the floor at all at the 5, you go right back to the same problems that you had. So one of these guys I feel like needs to come off the bench. I don't know that either one of those guys signed up to take a 22 to 24-minute roll off the bench. He's talking about Dylan Darling. We didn't profile him tonight, but he's probably going to be used more as the season goes on because I don't know that Ian Jackson's going to be effective at the point guard position. So, look, Patino might make me look foolish. I didn't look foolish when I said that they were going to struggle in the tournament when you're sub 250 or almost, I think they were sub 300 in effective field goal percentage. But if anybody can do it, there's just a lot of question marks. Can Ian Jackson play the point? Can Dylan Mitchell stretch the floor at all? Are you going to play Hopkins and Mitchell and Zuby to start them together? Darling, I got questions on him transferring to the Big East. Is he gonna be able to be the same type of player? I think he takes a little bit of a step back, man. So I just have my question marks. But Patino, Jay, obviously we know, solid coach and probably gonna get the most.
Do you think before we move on from Mitchell, do you think obviously I didn't feel too confident that defense would translate over to the St. John's style? Do you think that he can play? Johnny K saying, God, they can defend multiple positions. Do you think that it translates for him over to this system?
Yeah, I mean, Patino's going to make you play defense.
Sure.
My question is just, what are they doing offensively? Johnny K's chiming in. I love it. If Dylan Mitchell telling me he's on the 6-man role, then I'm with it. Like, I'm absolutely with it. But then there's still the questions of, like, can Ian Jackson play the point? I'm going to love talking about these guys all season, all off season, because it's fascinating. But yeah, so that news obviously worth talking about. I think Tyler Harris quietly. This is what Mike Byington does at Vanderbilt. He just goes and gets really good players. I might move him up the board. We have him at 108. Technically, he finished number 1 in 3-point percentage, 49.5% on 89 attempts last year, his sophomore season. So lowered his turnover rate last year, showed improvement in scoring. I really like this pickup for Vandy. Christian Coleman, I'm higher on this kid than a lot of places are. Going to Oklahoma State, really good around the rim. He's really good in transition for a big body. Was 100th in the country in offensive rebounding rate, and defensively, he's a quality shot blocker. Like in his tier A games, it did drop down a little bit. I think he'd be effective in a tough Big 12 for like a 16 to 20-minute type role. And then we promised Cam that we would. I mean, we're not going to bash North Carolina too much, but it's hard for me to get excited about this one, Jaden Young. The reason why I say that is because I thought he was going to be great in the mids after getting this high usage at Virginia Tech and it just not really being a thing. I question UNC's point guard issues right now. Kyan Evans is not really a traditional point guard. Jaden Young is like a off-ball guard, right? Like that wants to hunt his shot. So I'm a little nervous about what's going on. I think Cam's probably feeling the same way. I'm not really expecting much other than maybe an insurance policy, which – I mean, that's not a bad thing, right? But yeah, North Carolina and St. John's are in they're going to be in some interesting conversations over the next 6 months.
Jaden Epps, Dylan Mitchell, Tyler Harris, Christian Coleman, and Jaden Young. A 5-pack of commits. Make sure you're paying attention to these 5. Live chat one more time. Checking in before we get out of here. Yeah, Johnny K, definitely appreciate your thoughts there. I like the thought of him coming off the bench, and it would appear, right? Like, but this is a talented guy, man. Like, he played 28 minutes last year for Cincinnati. I guess you could probably still find a way to get him around that if you're bringing him off the pine. We'll see how Patino's rotation goes and how deep he wants to run it. I think Mitchell will be, obviously, even if he's not a starter, he'll get his run for sure. Did anybody drop their cereals in there, man? Like, okay, Cam did, of course. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, got to drink the milk afterwards there, of course. Yeah, I do mention Cheerios. I saw you flash it up there, Eric. Flash up Darren's. Then I'm a big Honey Nut Cheerios guy, personally. If the plain Cheerios, I just end up tossing a bunch of sugar on there anyway, and then scraping it off the bottom of the bowl, which is not that great for you, my guys. Not that great. So, thanks for everybody for hopping in that live chat tonight. Mike, any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, man, I think we'll kind of continue down profiling these 2-team spotlights. We'll do probably another couple of shows on this before we do like a final recap show. Move on to some incoming freshmen, get some coaches in on here, man. Start talking roster construction. By then, it'll probably be July, and we'll start talking conference previews hopefully in late July.
Hey, man, can we just finish April first before we start talking about
we can
July, man? Like we gotta finish up April. Let's start May out with a bang, and go from there. Thanks to everybody for hopping in the live chat. Mr. Brooks hopping in late. We see you, and we definitely appreciate you giving us your thoughts on cereal and everything else. Michael Peterson, the first and last right now in the live chat. We definitely appreciate you. Glad to see that you're feeling all right and recovering. Good to see you in the live chat. Who else was in there? Nape C. Hustle, of course. Snake Size hopping in early. Peanut Butter Posse hopping in. Good to see you in there all show long. Go Mean Green, according to our guy Darren, the biggest North Texas fan you'll ever see in your entire life. Johnny K, Brick dropping the St. John's knowledge, which we definitely appreciate all the time. The OGs of the live chat, they're as part of this. They are as much of this show as we are, and we appreciate everybody for playing their role in the one and done universe. Push those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Show your broskies and basketball some love at One and Done CBB on all the socials. Didn't mention that earlier on, but if you stuck around long enough, I have a feeling that you're going to be willing to push those buttons. So get on over there. All the socials you see there. The most important one is over there on X at One and Done CVB. And then right there on YouTube, One and Done College Basketball, WON_DONE College Basketball. Type it all into your search bar there and hit the subscribe button. We definitely appreciate everybody that's done that lately. Well over 1,500 subs, 1,522 at the start of this thing. Let's keep going to the moon, man. MySpace. I got my 8 friends. One of them is Tom from MySpace over there on One and Done, the One and Done page. Set up the code. We were writing code back then and we didn't even know it, putting our songs and all of our top 8 friends, top 16 when it expanded, Johnny, why are we pouring some salt?
NBA workouts, man.
According to that, he can shoot some threes for sure. Didn't show that out here in Austin, unfortunately, but we shall see. Yeah, Eric hopping in there, letting us know that MySpace Tom is a certified breadhead. Yeah, and everybody that hopped in the live chat is too. Everybody that paid attention to us here tonight on this show, or if you're watching later on, we appreciate all of you for doing that, and we appreciate the entire One and Done universe. Push all those buttons, like and subscribe. DrRoto.com is where you can find our top 500 transfer portal. Are we already at 500, Mike?
Yeah, we're closing in on 500. I think I got 10 names and some sleep to go after that.
There we go. Good stuff there. So make sure you get over to DrRoto.com and check that out. Darren, there is no word on Rodney Terry still. So thank you for checking in as always. You had to get your shot in and get under my skin one more time before we close out of this thing. As I give a shout out one more time to our guy, Eric the Blue at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets, pushing the buttons tonight, giving you the best fantasy content up and down Elon's place over there on X at Fantasy Nav. The real Napier is our guy, the Hall of Famer CC Hustle, showing us some love. Mike at MC Holland 34, El Capitan himself, right here of the One and Done universe. Check us out. Look at that One and Done on the shirts. We got shirts going out. We got big things coming up. So make sure you push all of those buttons. Breadhead cereal. I don't know if we can work on that, Michael. We will definitely, work with the marketing department to do that. Any other? Okay, here we go. Good stuff there. Oh, Mike, do you want to hit on that real quick? The Peanut Butter Posse recent ACL surgery success stories. Apart from me, obviously, when I went to the ortho the other day, the doc said that my surgically repaired knee was better than my non. But any of those come to mind?
Not off the top of the head, but I mean, just from the last 5 to 10 years, those aren't really. It used to be thought of 25 years ago, the ACL was potentially career threatening. Now guys are coming back like Tommy, like Tommy John back in the day. Now it's like you kind of want Tommy John midway through your career, so you can
adds 3
innings,
3 miles an hour to your fastball.
Exactly,
and all that stuff and all that. But
obviously, yes, you worry about it, especially on big men. So with Jaden Quaintance, you always worry about lower leg and feet with big men for sure. So, but he's so young. He's 17 last year, so I think he'll be okay.
He will be all right. All right, good stuff there. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight right here on One and Done. If you're watching live or later, push all those buttons. Do your part in the Green Screens. Not Green Screens Media Universe anymore. It's the One and Done universe. Do your part in the One and Done universe. We are getting green screens during the season with our DFS shows, but right now it's all portal, roster construction, coach interviews coming, and who knows what else all summer long. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure you tell somebody you love them. Take care of yourself. My name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. We'll see you. Peace.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.